Welcome to Arm and Core Foga, fitness and yoga combination. This is a really fun workout that does not require any weights at all. You'll just be using your own body weight for these moves. I am Dr. Bree, and this exercise routine is core and pelvic floor friendly as long as you follow my cues for breathing and technique. So really watching your posture and working on engaging your core muscles. We're going to begin with a warm-up. So really relax your shoulders down away from your ears and make sure that as you're doing this V-up move, pulsing your arms up and up, that you're not letting your lower ribs pop forward. So keep your low ribs drawn in, dropped down, and again, keep your shoulders down and relaxed away from your ears, and just keep breathing. Keep going. And now change it up a little bit, magic fingers. You're just gonna flick your fingers open and closed, arms nice and high. If you'd like to follow me and add some hip circles, go for it. Keep breathing steadily and try to imagine that you're drawing a circle on the ground beneath you with your hips. Go the other way with your hip circles, keep breathing, and really try to keep your head and shoulders still as you move your hips in circles. This is a really surprisingly hard move. As you can see from my face, I was really feeling it, but try to keep going if you can. Roll out the wrists. We are going to be using our wrists a lot in today's workout, so you want to really give them some love and care right now. Okay, step forward to the top of your mat and step back into a low lunge. Just spend some time rocking forward and back, easing into the position, and you can always have your hands on yoga blocks if you need to. Now find a nice position, strong through your core, and circle the arm around on the side of the leg that's back. So for me, it's my right leg is back and my right arm is circling up and around. Set your hand down, and you're gonna look forward, engage your core strongly, lift through your pelvic floor and core, exhale and step forward. With your knees bent, inhale up to stand, and then roll out your wrists as you wing your arms down. Inhale up and exhale, fold forward, prepare to step back into the other side lunge. So right now my left leg is stepping back. Just rock forward and back a few times, getting into the position. Again, you can absolutely have yoga blocks under your hands if you need that support. Engage your core, and your left arm circles around, full range of motion. So often we neglect to use our shoulders in their full range of motion. Try to get those full arm circles and then set your hands down. Sit all the way down on your knee and come back onto your hands and knees. We're gonna go to thread the needle. So right now my right arm lifts out to the side, and then I'm threading my right arm underneath my left. My left arm, as you can see, it's a little bit forward of my head. My fingers are tented on the ground. Elbow points up toward the ceiling. Just try to relax in this position. Your bottom is pointing up toward the ceiling. Really feeling a nice shoulder and chest stretch. You can have your head on a pillow or a yoga block if you need to. You can either just stay here and ease into this position, this thread the needle position, or for an extra challenge, you can carefully bring the left leg straight back behind you. Really strong through your core. You have to be lifted through your pelvic floor, engaged through your pelvic floor to do this. Strong through your core, strong through your pelvic floor, and the left leg again is shooting straight back. Hold it for one more breath, and then set the knee down, come back up, bring your right arm back out from underneath, and we're gonna move into some wide arm push-ups. Elbows are pointing out to the sides, and your fingertips, you're actually up on your fingertips. So touch your forehead down toward the floor, and then exhale up. Feel your shoulder blades drawing together as your forehead touches the floor, and then really press up. Again, those elbows are pointing out to the side. Nice, great chest strengthening exercise. Now we're going to thread the needle on the other side. So left arm goes up, and then thread the left arm underneath your right. And again, you can just sink into this position. Your head can absolutely be resting on a block or a blanket if that's more comfortable, or a small pillow. But if you're good in this position and you're ready and want to, you can engage your core muscles. Pelvic floor has got to be strong for this. And you're going to bring your right leg straight back behind you. Keep breathing and really lifting through your pelvic floor and core, strong and stable through your core. And lifting that right leg straight out behind you. Carefully set the leg down and come back up onto your fingertips, your tented fingertips. And you can either do regular wide-armed push-ups like we just did, or move with me into these more flowing wide-arm push-ups, where your back and your head, everything is rounding almost in a wave-like motion. If that feels comfortable for you, then finish up with that, or do your final push-up, and then you're going to sit back into child's pose. You can either just rest right here in child's pose, or if you'd like to, you can clasp your hands behind your back and stretch your arms up overhead. Try to keep the palms of your hand toward one another. It's real easy to let the palms of your hand drift away from each other, but try to really increase the stretch by drawing the palms of your hands toward each other. Release and come up back into your hands and knees for a moment, and then we're going to go into a downward dog. So one leg at a time, you move up into downward facing dog, and I want your legs to be nice and wide as the yoga mat. Bend your knees strongly and think about pressing your chest toward your thighs. Really lift your bum up toward the ceiling, and just holding it here for a moment. And really engage your core for what's coming now. You're going to touch opposite hand to shoulder. So back and forth between your two sides. Keep your knees bent. Heels can be off the floor. Core is strong and engaged. Pelvic floor is nice and engaged, of course. And you are just touching opposite hand to shoulder. Try to keep everything still. The only thing moving is your arms, your hands off the floor. Keep pressing back. Keep lifting your bum up toward the ceiling and make the move slow and controlled. Keep breathing. You just have a couple more on each side. Again, the only thing moving is your arms. And finish up. Step forward, one little step at a time. Bend your knees, wing your arms up, and then roll out your wrists as you wing your arms down. We're going to move into another variation of downward dog again. This time we're going to do downward dog to dolphin alternators. So step back into a downward dog position, this time feet together. They're fairly close, about hip width distance apart, so not quite as wide as we did before. But still keep your knees bent, your chest pressing toward your thighs. And you're going to go down onto your right elbow, and then down onto your left, and then up onto your right hand and up onto your left. Keep your knees bent, your bum lifted, and you press your chest toward your thighs. And keep breathing as you continue this. Elbow, elbow, up, up. Starting with your right side. So right elbow, right arm up, left arm up. This time I want you to stay in the dolphin position, so your elbows on the ground, forearms are parallel, and lift your right leg up toward the sky. Lift it, lift it, lift it. Everything is square toward the ground as you lift your left leg now up toward the sky. So switch sides. Keep your hips square facing down toward the floor and drop that leg. Sit back briefly into child's pose. Round yourself up Inhale up to stand. Roll out your wrists as you wing your arms down. And we've got to do the other side now. So now that you're ready for that, so step back into downward dog. Pressing back, your knees can be bent. Feet are hip width distance apart. We're going to start with the left elbow going down toward the floor. So get into your good position. Now left elbow, left straight arm, right straight arm. Elbow, elbow, straighten your arm, straighten your arm. Left elbow, straighten your arm, straighten your arm. Keep going and try to keep pressing your hips back. Now last time down onto your elbows, this time stay here. Press those hips back. Make sure your elbows are a forearms distance width apart and your forearms are now parallel to each other on the mat. Lift one leg up behind you, starting with your left if you'd like, and hold it there, and then the other side. Lift your right leg up toward the ceiling, hips square, facing down. And come on down, back into child's pose. Little tiny short break. Take a deep breath. And then press yourself back up onto your feet. Wing your arms up on the inhale, and then exhale. Roll out your wrists as you wing your arms down. Moving into warrior two foot position. So your heel is in line with the arch of your foot. It's as if your feet were on a line. Your front foot is on a line and your back foot is bisecting that line. You're in the warrior two position, nice and strong, lifted through the pelvic floor, strong and tall through your spine, and back into those V pulses with our arms. So we started with this in our warm-up. Try also to be very still and steady in your body. The only thing moving is your arms. So get lower if you can. Bend that front knee a little lower if you can. Lift through your pelvic floor a little bit more. And definitely keep breathing. Move into side angle pose. Stretch and press through the outer edge of your back foot. And now circle your arm around. Just a few more times, circling it, full range of motion. Still pressing through the outer edge of that back foot. And now inhale, reverse warrior, straightening the front leg. And switch to the other side. Same exact thing, other side. So warrior two foot position, your heel is in line with the back arch. Lift your pelvic floor, make sure that your front knee is pressing back and not falling inward. You're gonna rotate your palms up and then down. Rotate your whole arms, really starting at your shoulder, but what you'll notice is your palms facing up and then facing down. Try to get your whole arm into it, like a log roll of your arm, all the way rotated one way and then the other way. Keep pressing into the outer edge of your back foot through that straight leg and bending deeper into the front bent leg. You can really feel it, I'm sure, if you're like me. Keep breathing. I was really feeling it. Side angle pose and move straight into those arm circles. Full range of motion. You're doing all 4 or 5 on each side, so just try to be equal to what you did on the other side. Come back up into warrior, reverse warrior, and come facing forward. Walk your feet inward, heel toeing your feet together. Roll out your shoulders. And take a couple of nice big hip circles, just 1 or 2 in each direction. Move forward to the front of your mat, step back into downward dog again. So feet are once again hip width distance apart. And you're gonna drop both of your heels to the right. So if you're following me, drop both of your heels to the right. And then you're gonna come onto your right hand, left arm lifts up toward the ceiling. Try to keep your body straight like a plank. Lift those hips, lift that arm. Micro bend in that bottom arm, the right arm. Micro bend in the elbow so that you're not hyperextending at the elbow joint. And then come back into downward dog. Pedal out your feet. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So drop both of your heels to the left and come onto your left arm. Right arm lifts toward the ceiling. Try to make your body straight like a plank, lifting your hips up if they feel like they're sagging downward, reaching your right arm up toward the sky, slight micro bend in your left supporting arm so you don't hyperextend the elbow, and then come back into your downward dog. Pedal out your feet. And then prepare to come into a forearm plank. So your forearms are parallel, and you're gonna just walk those knees back and then carefully engage your core and pelvic floor, straighten one leg and then the other. We're just here for a brief second, and then you're gonna turn both heels to your right and lift your left arm up toward the sky. You can have your arm up toward the sky or on your hip. Strong through the core. Don't sink into your shoulder on that right side. Lift up and out of your shoulder. And then come briefly through the middle, bend one knee at a time. You're in forearm plank again with your bum lifted toward the ceiling. That's just fine. You can come back onto your knees if you wish, and then move back. One leg lifts at a time into forearm plank. Core is nice and strong. Drop both heels to the left, and now your right arm lifts up toward the sky, or you can place your right hand on your hip. Try not to sink into that left shoulder. You're lifting up and out of your shoulder. Keep breathing. Keep your core strong and engaged. Last breath right here. And then come back, knees and into child's pose. Mini, mini rest. Take a deep breath. And now come onto your belly. We're gonna do baby cobra. So hands right by your bust line, fingertips by your bust line. Straighten one leg back behind you and then the other. Press gently into your hands, use your back muscles, and also press into the floor. Elbows are pointing straight back toward the back of the room. Keep them hugging in toward each other so they're not flaring out to the sides. And you're just lifting your chest up off the ground. If you'd like to add your legs, you can add your leg lift as well. So the whole back side of your body is strong and engaged. Again, you're using your back muscles, your butt muscles, but also your arms are pushing a little bit too. Now, keep everything lifted off the ground. Hands are up off the floor, and you're gonna move your arms forward and pull back. Forward and pull back. Thumbs are pointing up toward the ceiling. Legs are off the floor, upper body is off the floor. You're reaching your arms forward and then pulling back. Last time here. And then carefully come up, exhale into child's pose. Another mini rest. Just take a breath or two. You can have your hands in front of you or behind you, whatever feels good. Next up, we're going into seagull arms. So you want to sit back in child's pose again. You can stay right where you were, but spread your arms out wide to the sides. I'm just going to show you from a different angle so you can see what's going on. You're tenting your fingertips on the ground. Hands are straight out to the sides in a T, and think about lifting your elbows up toward the ceiling. I like to think of this as a seagull flying, or you can think of it like you have a ball on either side in your hands and you're lifting that ball straight up off the ground. But do try to lift your elbows up toward the ceiling and try to feel this strengthening the muscles between your shoulder blades. If it's too much for your head to be down so low, you can have your head on a block or a pillow. Now hold this last one. Hold your elbows up toward the sky. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And then release down. Roll out your shoulders, moving up into a seated position to get ready for our triceps series. So hands, fingertips are pointing toward your feet, or they can turn slightly out to the side, but not too much. Try to point your fingers toward your feet. Roll your shoulders down your back, lift your heart. Shoulders are down away from your ears. Lift your bottom high off the ground and bend your elbows and straighten them. Don't just drop your hips up and down. This is all about the arms. Keep your elbows pointing toward the back of the room. And now we're gonna pulse it. So stay low and pulse those elbows, little tiny bend and straightens. Pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. Almost done. You're gonna feel a good burn here, and then we do it again. So full bend and straighten 5 times. Keep breathing. Elbows are pointing toward the back of the room. Shoulders are down away from your ears. And now those mini pulses. So it's like you're staying in the mid-range position and just doing tiny, tiny, tiny bends and straightens. Good job. Straight into reverse plank. So lift your buns high off the ground, your hips high, and you're just dipping one side of your hips down and then the other outer hip down. Outer hip dips and then the outer hip dips. It's a nice stretch and a strengthener for your arms. Keep breathing. And then set your bottom down. Relax and roll out those wrists. Take some deep breaths. Roll out your shoulders. Side bend your head to the left and stretch your right arm away. And then side bend your head to the right and stretch your left arm away. Roll out your shoulders again and prepare to stand up. We're going to do some squats. You're going to come up into a nice wide foot squat position, so feet are a little more than hip width distance apart. They can even be shoulder width distance apart. Toes can turn slightly outward. Make sure you sit way back and don't let your bum tuck under. So sit way back and exhale on the way up. Your elbows are going to come together as you squat down and apart as you stand up. Keep your core strong and engaged. Really use your bottom to stand up. Elbows come forward and then elbows spread wide apart as you come up to stand. Again, keep your bum untucked, your heart lifted, and keep breathing, exhaling as you come up to stand. Core is super strong and engaged. Bottom is nice and strong. You really squeeze your butt cheeks as you come up to stand and widen your elbows apart. You're going to feel your shoulder blades squeeze together as you widen your elbows apart and as you come up to stand. This is a lot going on in this move. You don't have to sit as low as I do. You can always keep it higher off the ground. Go ahead and finish up and release. Let go. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs if that feels good. We have a pretty intense move next, so you're going to want to make sure your wrists are feeling good for it and that you are ready for some plyometric push-ups at the wall. Now, you can also do this against a countertop if you have a countertop surface, but you're going to want to make sure that you're a full arm's width distance away from your surface. So a straight arm's width distance away from your surface. You're going to push off with an exhale and try to land very softly. Keep your body straight like a plank, and you want your elbows to point out toward the side. Keep breathing with this, exhaling with exertion, and trying to keep your body straight like a plank. You can come up onto your tiptoes, onto the balls of your feet if that's easier for you. And if you need to adjust your distance, don't be afraid to do so. Safety comes first, so make sure that you're doing this with a lot of control and that your distance and your alignment is right. Don't push yourself back too hard or you'll tip back. Again, safety comes first. Keep going just a few more. And finish up. Release. Shake out the legs, shake out those arms. Take some deep breaths. And the next thing we're going to do is really just finish up. We're going to end on the ground with a core exercise and a stretch. So this bird dog on your back exercise is one of my favorites. You want to find your nice neutral spine position, engage your pelvic floor, pull in your deep abdominal muscles, lift one leg off the ground and then the other. So you want to make sure that you don't let this happen while you're doing the move. If your low back arches off the floor like I just showed, then you need to stop and reset your position. You should keep your core nice and strong, your abdominals pulled in, and your opposite arm and leg reach away from each other. So you can absolutely just do the legs and not even worry about the arms if this is too much, if it's a brain bender at this time, or if you're a beginner. You can also put your hands on the floor beside you. You don't have to do the opposite arm and leg reach. But no matter what, I want you to make sure that your low back does not arch off the ground. You keep your lower abs pulled in, your core is engaged, and you exhale as you straighten your leg. Exhale and exhale. Keep breathing, exhaling with exertion, and prepare to hold this side. So opposite arm and leg are reaching away from each other. Make sure your low back is not arching. If you want even more, rotate your legs inward toward each other. You'll feel this now even more in your pelvic floor. So your right straight leg is turning inward and your left bent leg is hugging inward toward the midline. Now come to neutral and hold on the other side. So hold, reaching the arm and leg, opposite arm and leg apart from each other. Keep breathing. Keep your low abs pulled in and don't let your low back arch. If you want to try rotating your legs inward toward each other, then that's a neat way to really engage your pelvic floor even further. So it's like they're hugging toward the midline. Keep the low back down toward the floor and release. Circling out those hips. Straighten one leg at a time, pulling knee to chest, just a few times back and forth. Straightening one leg long and the other leg bent. Releases your back and it just feels good. Now hug your knees to your chest and you're going to shift both hips to the left and bring both knees to the right. Arms are out in a T shape to begin with. And if you're very flexible and want more of a stretch, you can wrap your top leg underneath your bottom leg, but I prefer just to keep my knees stacked. So now sweep a full range of motion. For me, it's my left arm sweeping up, touching toward my right arm, and then down. Sweeping all the way up, touching my right hand, and then coming down. Sweeping it, touching my right hand, and then coming down. Stay in a T-arm position or a cactus arm position. Try to work both shoulder blades down toward the floor. So trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. That will make sure that you really increase the twist. It's a nice twist for your low back and hips, a nice stretch. But you've got to keep breathing. Keep the breath flowing and just sink into the ground. Now unwind your legs, windshield wiper your legs back and forth, feet nice and wide, dropping one knee at a time. Come up into a bridge position just to recenter yourself, and we're going to do the same thing. Now hips shift to the right and knees drop to your left. Sweep your right arm up and around so that it touches toward the left hand and then comes all the way back around and down. Full range of motion. Breathing. Last time here. And then hold your arms out either in a T position or cactus arm position. Whether your arms are in a T or a cactus arm position, try to work your shoulder blades down toward the floor. Sink into the ground, feeling this nice twist in your low back, muscles, and your hips, feeling the stretch. The twist should always feel good and delicious. There should not be tweaking, there should not be pain. Listen to your body. If you feel like this is too deep, then back off. Just lie on your back with your knees dropped together, or maybe place a pillow between your knees for support. Go ahead and come back into the windshield wiper position that we did before, feet nice and wide, dropping one knee at a time. bridge to center yourself. And then straighten out one leg at a time and place your hands behind your head, fingers clasped, interlocked like a little pillow for your head, elbows wide out to the sides, and just sink into the ground. Take at least 2 or 3 deep breaths before you stop this video. And I want to thank you for being here with me all the way till the end. You did a great arm workout today with body weight only, and I hope that you'll come back next week for more. As always, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter.